entangled again. Don't do it no more. God, if you deliver me from this, I won't do it no more. You know how we prayed in the past?
Stay right there. Stay right there.
You want something, and so you tell the Lord, if you just do this, I'll do this for you. I'll do it. I'll do it. You get me out of this one. You, when you say it, you think you mean it. But you don't know you mean it until you do it.
That's right. That's good.
You think you mean it when you tell them. And if anybody asks you, do you really mean it? Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, I mean it.
That's right.
But you don't know, but you won't know that you mean it until you do it.
That's good. That's right.
And the Lord said, and be not entangled again with that stuff that I have delivered you from. That stuff that has bound you up. The stuff that has tied you up. The stuff that has messed you up. The stuff that has caused you not to give God all that He deserved from your life. We allow some of the craziest things to tie us up. And we can't give God His just due. When the Lord delivers you from something or brings you through something, you should remain free of it. Lord, deliver me from a taste. How can He deliver you that every time you see it, you take a taste?
Stay right there.
Lord, deliver me from cigarettes. But how can He deliver you that every time you eat, you got to go outside and get a cigarette? Put a piece of candy in your mouth. See, you got to do something because God said, I've done my part. Now it's about what you are going to do with what I've done for you. Don't you know when God has delivered you from something, or God is trying to deliver you from something, and you keep doing it over and over and over again? Do you know what you're saying to God? And sometimes when we say, Lord, give us one more chance, that next chance never comes because I ain't going to wait on another chance. I'm going to do it while I've got the chance right now. How many of you got a guarantee that you're going to see tomorrow morning? You ain't got no guarantees. So don't tell the Lord, on Monday I'm going to give up. Why don't you do it right now?
Right now.
You can do it right now. Lord, I declare by your power which you have delivered me from, Lord, I declare that you have taken the taste out of my mouth. You've taken the desire for me to put another cigarette in my mouth. In this scripture, Christ has broken the bondage. Because in the text, it talks about the law of Moses. And because under the law of Moses, it required that every boy child would be circumcised. To be circumcised, you had to do that because the legalistic Jews was teaching the Galatians that this was the only way that that you could be a believer. Under the law, to be a Christian, they believed that to do that and believe in God, you had to be circumcised according to the law. I was telling my deacon's class this morning, think about where you and I would be if we were still under the law. Will none of us be here? Because in our studies this morning, it says that the Levites murmured against Moses. And right then on the spot, God killed 14,000. On the spot. Because they opened their mouth against the servant of God. And then we looked at 1 Chronicles, chapter 15, where he says, touch not my anointed, and do my prophet no harm. And then he went over to Psalms 105 and said the same thing. Touch not. You ain't, and God is not talking about physically touching him. But when you put your mouth on it.
Well, teach the word. Teach the word. Yes.
You ought to keep your mouth shut when it comes to putting your mouth on the anointed man or woman of God.
The word.
The only reason you and I are not cut off is because God can't see what you and I are doing. Why can't he see it? Because
Yes, Lord.
the only thing God sees is Jesus when he looks at you and I. He can't see the dirt. He can't see the sin because Jesus is covered in it. Thank God for mercy and grace.
Thank you.
And not the law.
Thank you.
And the reason that Jesus came and talked about breaking them free of the bondage, because in the law, you had to keep every law. Because if you broke one law, you broke them all. So that's why Jesus came and said to the Galatians, I'm going to set you free of the penalty of sin under the law. And he said, I'm going to set you free. Because he had delivered them. He had delivered them from Judaism. That they might become a Christian. Now I've delivered you from this. So don't go messing around in it. You know, you got some church folks that like to run over here, see what they doing, run over here, see what they doing, run over there, see what they doing, and then try to bring it back here. If you're running from here to there to here to there, that means that you don't know what you got. You don't know who you are. You haven't been delivered yet. If you're going to be a Baptist, be a Baptist. You're going to be a Methodist, be a Methodist. Because all of them, there's only one Lord, one faith, and one baptism.
That's right.
But whatever you're going to be the best that you can be. Don't be trying to find stuff to make it better. Because you can't make it any better. You got to just live with what God has given you. Because Christ has done this for us. Our text exhorts us to be good stewards of this gospel in which Christ has set us free. There are three things that's going on here. The first thing that you got to do is be faithful. Faithfulness, because the first word he says, stand fast. This is a good exhortation for any area of life in which one needs to be faithful and loyal. Stand fast involves two things. Dedication. You got to be dedicated to what you do. If you are not dedicated to be the best choir member you can be, you won't be a troublemaker in the choir. Huh? If you ain't going to be the best deacon you can be, you're just going to be a devilish deacon. If you're not dedicated to be the best trustee you can be, you're just going to be a tricky trustee. Wow. It's time for us to be exactly what God has called us to be. So you need to be dedicated. Stand. To uphold true doctrine, one must be dedicated to what you believe. So many professing Christians are not willing to stand for anything that requires faithfulness. They have their fingers up in the air trying to see which way the wind is going to blow. Whichever way the wind blows the hardest, that's the way they'll go. Huh? When you're dedicated to the cause of Christ, living for Him and serving Him and witnessing for Him, there will come a time when you have to stand alone. In order to stand in the liberty that Christ has provided for us. Everybody likes to have friends. But sometimes your friend don't understand why you got to do what you got to do for the Lord. Why you got to go out there tonight? You can miss Bible class tonight. You can miss Sunday service. You got 52 Sundays in the year. You can miss one. No, I can't miss one because the Sunday that I miss might be my Sunday to get blessed. The night I fool around with you and don't go to Bible class might be the night that God gives me my revelation. Man, you can't fool with this thing. You got to be dedicated to what you are going to do. You may have to stand alone, so not to become entangled again in the bondage that Christ has delivered you from. Then the second thing that's involved in that is consistency. Christians, we find it so hard to be consistent. Listen, you stand for the same thing every day, in and out. You do the same thing every day, in and out. You get up, you go to work. You work, you come home. You get up, you're being consistent doing that. But what about being consistent in my service for the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
Why come I can't be consistent? Why come I can't be faithful to God? Because God has been faithful to me. You must be willing to stand fast for when you go through the thick and the thin, when it's unpopular and when it's not popular, when you have to stand fast on what you believe.
Yes. Yes.
See, how we feel about Jesus don't change daily. Huh? The only change is I get stronger, not weaker. Because Jesus don't change. The scripture says what? He is the same. Huh? Don't y'all know it? He's the same when? Yesterday, today, and forevermore. If you don't know that He's the same, then people can sell you anything. Yeah, you have to stand. How we feel about Jesus, it's not about how I feel.
Yeah.
but it's about my faith. The world does not like you to be consistent in your belief, in your religion. So if you stand fast and are tolerable to other views, though they may be wrong, you are considered a hardhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But stand in. Paul exhorts the Galatian believer to take to be dedicated. In other words, Paul even used the word dogmatic.
Yes.
Paul says, be dogmatic. Huh?
Yeah.
Be determined
Yeah.
in what you're going to do. Stand against those who would pollute the gospel message with false doctrine. You got to be true to the gospel, so it don't get watered down by a whole lot of junk. People will water it down because it's too powerful for them to fit into what they are trying to do, so they try to water it down. But it don't mean that. It means this. It don't mean that. It only means something else. No, this is what it means because this is what the Lord said.
Yeah.
Dogmatic in what you believe. In the second part, he said freedom. Wherewith Christ has made us free. Three things happen with your freedom. The provider of this freedom is Christ. He is the author of your salvation. Wherever the true gospel is proclaimed, Christ will be the provider of your freedom. There is no soul freedom apart from Jesus Christ. The price of your freedom has made us free. This is the past tense. We will look at the past in terms of the price that Christ paid for our freedom. You know that soldiers have died by the thousands to give us freedom. Many of us have never served in the armed forces. So that means we have an obligation to recognize those who have served on the battlefield to make us free. To make us free. You remember that story, A Few Good Men? Huh? When the lawyer was trying to get Nichols to tell him, what did you say or what did you do? What did you mean? He said, I'm the one who sits on the wall and watch at night while you are sleeping. I'm the one that makes you have freedom, able to walk and do anything you want to do. And then you have your audacity to sit here and question me. When you walk through the airport and see soldiers in uniforms, you ought to tell them thanks. Because there's somebody's child, somebody's husband, somebody's wife that's going off somewhere else while you and I remain here in America. We got to think about that. Christ is the provider of our freedom. Soldiers have died that we might be free. And Christ died the ultimate death on Calvary for our soul freedom. He died the ultimate death, so there is nothing else. There is no other way for our souls to be free. But Jesus said there's no other way. There's nothing else given under the sun by which man must be saved, but by the name of Jesus. We try other things and do other things trying to make it to heaven, but there's only one way to make it, that you got to be saved. The premium for our freedom was made free. No freedom is great as that provided by Christ. I'm so glad that but you can't buy your way to heaven. If money could get us to heaven, we might as well go on and quit right now. But thank God it ain't about money. Jesus paid the ultimate price for you and I. It's freedom. He died because, and when he died, it is freedom from the penalty of sin. No condemnation to the fire of hell. And from the power of sin, dirty habits of sin are broken when one comes to Christ. And that person is freed from the power of sin. When you come to Jesus, he breaks the strands that causing you to do those things that is against the will of God. If you think about it, God has already delivered you from those things which you're trying to get delivered from. You just have not yet made up your mind to accept your deliverance. So don't keep saying, Lord, deliver me. He's already done it. You just don't want to take hold of it because that sin is so good. It's going to be a shame that folks going to live here on earth in hell and then die and go to hell because we won't accept the gift that Jesus has given unto us. Then God gives us, Jesus gives us a warning. Be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. He's warning us, don't do it anymore. You know how your parents used to do? Don't do that again. You didn't listen. When their back was turned, you did it again. You thought you were going to get away with it. But they saw you. Mama saw you. She said, I'm going to get you. And when she gets you, remember last week when I told you don't do that? Parents have a memory. They don't forget nothing. And a lot of times they don't punish us, not because we don't need it, but because they love us and they try to get us through stuff, by showing us how much they love us. But sometimes the love don't work. I used to hear my mother say, I'm doing this because I love you. Mom, how you gonna love me and you hurting me? But I thank God for every whipping I ever got. Yes. Thank God. Thank God. Mama never had to come to the jailhouse. Never had to go to the courthouse.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's right. Daddy never had to come to get me out of the club. We got to remember the warnings that we get. When we're driving on the road, you see a great big sign. Work area. Slow down. You get 3 tickets in the work area, you lose your driver's license. Folks lose their license and then they go, why did they take my license? We don't listen. A strong warning is given the Galatians and us today about the problems of the law. God does not need the law to affect salvation. With repetition, the Galatian believers had been saved from Judaism and God had to do it. And the result of them being delivered, God said, stand now in what I've given you. See, he's given us the power to stand. He's given us the ability. He's given us the instructions. He's told us how to stand. The Apostle Paul says, stand. And after you've done all you can do to stand, stand anyhow. Because when you're not standing in your own strength, that's when you really stand.
That's right.
Because it's no longer you, but it is Christ. Because God, through Jesus Christ, has delivered us from the bondage of our from sin, Satan will try to steal from you. Huh? What will he try to steal? He'll steal your joy. He'll steal your family. He'll steal your health. He'll steal your very life. But if you remain faithful and stand fast, consistent in your belief, remaining free from the bondage that Christ had delivered you from, Satan had no authority over you. When the hellhound gets on your trail, you can tell them, oh no, my brother, Jesus has already paid it off. Jesus has already taken care of what you're throwing up in my face. You know, every time Satan comes to you, he tries to get you with guilt. He makes you feel guilty about stuff. And you got to have enough sense to say, Jesus has already taken care of my guilt. You can't make me feel guilty about something I've been delivered from. Jesus has given us the power to be delivered from the bondage of sin.
Yes. Thank you, Lord.
And if you don't remember anything else, remember that he says, don't do it again. And what do we usually say to God when we do it again? I'm sorry. Lord, I didn't mean to do. I got you. You was weak when you made the first promise to God. Huh? But Lord, because you have delivered me, and I understand the cost, and I understand the responsibility. He died for my sins. And now I got a responsibility to him. That I got to live for him. I got to live so he'll look at me and he'll know that he can use me anywhere, anytime, any place to do whatever he wants me to do. Some of us only want to be used when we have the time. But God uses us. He don't just use us when it's convenient for us. But he uses us when he needs us to go. So don't tell the Lord, Lord, here I am, send me. And then when the Lord send you, wait a minute, Lord, I got to wash the clothes tonight, I got to go shopping tonight, I got to do this tonight. Lord, I'll do it tomorrow. If I wanted you to do it tomorrow, I'd have waited till tomorrow to call you. I want you to do it right now. God don't give us a timetable to do stuff. When God says do it, he means do it right now. But Lord, I just don't have the faith to do it now. If God didn't know you had the faith to do it, he never told you to do it right now. God never put you in a situation where you're going to lose.
Never.
It would be beneficial to God to put you in a losing situation. Because if you lose, that says something about what you think of him and what others will think of him. He'll never put you in a lose, but he'll always give you the victory. Victory in Jesus. That's what I'm victory. 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 Every victory you win is because Jesus gave it to you. Every victory you win is because you were strong enough to go through whatever you went through to get to where God wanted you to be. Victory is not always in front of you. Sometimes victory is down the road. And you're on your way to victory. Yeah. cost and responsibility. If you're not going to be responsible for what you ask God for, don't ask Him.
Jesus.
Don't ask Him. Let me tell you something. It's a sin to ask God for something and He gives it to you and then you miss it. Huh? You understand that? It's a sin to ask God and then you mess up what He gives you. Sometimes God gives us what we ask for, even though we ain't ready for it. And God does it just to show you that you ain't ready for what you asked for. Huh? God, I want to be a powerful preacher. I want to be a powerful singer. I want to be a powerful. You got to put some effort and time into those kind of things. God just don't zoop down at night and open you up and boom. And tomorrow you're a great singer or a great preacher or a great whatever. It takes time. Huh? Don't get upset when you see other people using what God has given them. It only took time for them to get there.
Yes. Yes.
There's a whole lot of preachers I know they preach circles around me. And I ain't mad with them. I'm glad for them because I get nuggets
That's right.
out of what they just saying.
That's right.
And sometimes I don't give them credit for it. Many times when I'm meeting with my friends and we be talking and they say, man, I don't know what to use that. And they don't give you no credit for it either. And we'll say, well, you've been out preaching in my church. So cost. Jesus paid it all. All to Him I go. Sin and death. A crimson sin. But He washed it.
Yes.
Washed it white than snow. Huh? Isn't it good to know that Jesus washes our sin?
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
And sometimes I wonder, Lord, how in the world can you bring whiteness out of blackness? Huh? You know that story about they asked the question, how in the world can a black cow give white milk? Huh? I don't think eat green grass and still get. I don't know how they do. Okay.